Shunyavadi started saying that the karyam before the creation was non-existent, meaning a pot. Before the creation of the pot was non-existent, according to Shunyavadi. And the Shunyavadi also said one thing, another point. These 2 points for a few minutes you have to remember. The Purvapakshi takes the stand. The creation, the pot was non-existent before its creation. And after the creation of the pot, the source is non-existent. Amazing thing. The clay is no longer existent because the clay has been replaced by pot. So before the creation of the pot was non-existent. And after the creation of the pot, the clay is non-existent. In the same manner, before the creation of the universe was non-existent. And after the creation of the universe, the source is non-existent. That means the universe is there in emptiness. There is no source. That means shunya, it's emptiness. A very, very profound topic. At least to become familiar with the topic, you may take a long time to see the implications of it. But at least to become familiar with this beautiful analysis topic, its unfoldment. So now the Siddhanti says, hey Shunyavadi, you are wrong in both the points, on both the counts you are wrong. It is not true that the pot was non-existent before its creation. It was there as the potential. Because what is potentially there alone can manifest. It's a very important thing. Not only was pot non-existent, not only was pot existent before creation. In a potential state it was very much there. As a possibility it was very much there. And even after the creation of the pot, the clay is, the source is there. Creation was there before its creation. The world was there before its creation in the unmanifest state. And when it becomes manifest also, the source is there. Thus, there is sadbhava. There is presence of both the creation and the source even before creation. There is a presence of creation and the source before the creation. There is creation and the source even after the creation. Creation is an appearance, Brahman is the source. Thus we talk about the unbroken presence. They talk about the unbroken absence. Or broken presence. Now they don't talk about presence. They are very allergic to the word presence. You see? There is no, in allopathy there is no medicine for allergy for absence. Presence. I don't know about Ayurveda. Ayurveda can come up with a remedy for everything. Yes, they will say we have an answer for everything, including self-ignorance. They will give you some pudiya, you take it, then you will be enlightened. There is a certain problem. Sometimes, when you exaggerate your abilities, you may fail to use the abilities that you have. You should always appreciate the abilities that you don't have. Use the abilities you have, and supposing you don't have the abilities, better appreciate, I don't have it. I can't. I can't doesn't make you small. I can't makes you shiner as an honest man. I can't. If I am honest to say I can't, it only adds to my glory. If I go on asserting really I can, where I can't also, I am only exaggerating my abilities. It is not good. But anyway, these Shunyavadis always, they talk about everything is absent, emptiness. Everything is absent. The universe is non-existent, the source is non-existent, even the observer, so-called observer, is non-existent. Ultimately, the truth is shunyam, total emptiness, oblivion. Total oblivion. And for them, sleep is oblivion. For them, death is oblivion, means nothingness. Whereas Vedanta says, no, sleep is not nothingness. Sleep is peaceful presence. Even when a person dies, it is not emptiness, it is a peaceful presence. Between death and birth, it is a peaceful presence. Until one is born, it is a peaceful presence of one's being. When a person takes another form, it is a disturbed presence of one's being. In sleep, it is one's peaceful presence, absolutely peaceful presence. And once a person wakes up, that peaceful presence, of course, as the underlying truth continues, plus the superficial turbulence. It's a presence. Up to this we have seen. Sir, not only the creation existed before its creation, not only the universe existed before its creation in its unmanifest state, but even the source existed as well as exists. And now he is going to give a very beautiful argument. I want you, let us move, even if we, do one sentence, but if you comprehensively look at it, it's great, it's a light. Instead of trying 1,000 candles and failing to lit one, it is better to grab one candle properly and lit it. Yes. You don't have to grab 1,000 candles. In the greed for more and more candles, you may fail to lit up even one candle. Yes. In the greed to make more and more money, you may fail to enjoy even whatever little you have. कहाँ होता है? आराम नहीं होता है. Somebody gave me one nice story, one of our students, during our coffee session. You don't know what all passes in coffee session. We have great debates and discussions in the coffee session. But that is an exclusive club, you can't be a part of it unless you apply for it, and then we have to screen the candidate and we have to go into a lot of things. Then alone we admit him as the exclusive club member. It is much more sophisticated than your gymkhana. Yes. Somebody told a story there. There was a monkey and there was a crop of maize, butta. What is it called? Corn. Butta. It saw a crop of buttas. This monkey got so excited, my God, I can grab them all. Went and broke everything. It went berserk in that crop and then broke so many buttas and thought it has done a big job, and went out of the kheti, and all that he had in his hand was one butta. You understand? It is only one butta. It would have been better to aim for one butta and take it and leave the rest in peace. The greed can destroy us. Therefore, instead of doing so many sentences and missing the essence, it is better to see one sentence and see the light in it. Yadhi loke. Now he is proving a point how even before presence never alternates with absence. It's a very beautiful thing. Presence never alternates with absence. Presence never, now it is present, now it is absent, now it is present, now it is absent. Strictly speaking, that is not possible. Strictly speaking, it is not possible. Strictly speaking. Even though we use the language like a pleasure, now the pleasure is, now it is not, etc. But strictly speaking, the same pleasure now is manifest, now is unmanifest. It goes into memory, it becomes an impression. When you are taking coffee, it is a perception. And once you have taken it, then it remains only an impression, memory. It goes into sanskara, memory. But it is there, either as manifest or unmanifest. Supposing you take a lot of coffees during the waking state, and sometimes it becomes manifest in the dream. You see, the unmanifest becomes manifest, yes. Therefore, strictly speaking, very, very strictly speaking, presence of something doesn't alternate with absence. What alternates is the manifest state of something alternates with unmanifest state of the same thing. The seed is an unmanifest tree, and now it is a seed, now it is a tree, again now it is a seed, now it is a tree. Seed and tree can alternate each other. Seed can lead to tree, a tree can lead to a seed, and that can lead to a tree. This is called alternating. इसके बाद वो, उसके बाद ये, उसके बाद ये, like this, that's called alternation. Whereas the presence of the universe never alternates with absence of the universe, but the manifest state of the universe alternates with unmanifest state. For that he is giving an example. Very beautiful point. Yadhi loke, anything in this world, pravritam, what is covered, enveloped. An object that is enveloped. Tama adina, like darkness, etc. Supposing there is an object. When the night falls, everything is dark, you don't see objects. This particular situation we call the objects being enveloped in darkness. This is called pravritam. Pravritam means avritam. Avritam means they are as though covered. Pravritam tama adina, when the objects are covered under ignorance, under darkness, there is darkness and there are objects, but there is darkness, they are not seen. When they are not seen, we call them covered. Adina. Pravritam tam adina. Ghatadi vastu, like objects like pot, etc. If there are objects like pot, etc., and in the night they are not seen, we say they are all covered by darkness. Tad alokadina, but next morning when the sun rises, there is sunlight. Tad alokadina. Pravarana tiraskarena, by removing the darkness. Pravarana tiraskarena, the moment the sun rises, the darkness is dispelled. Vijnana vishayatvam prapnuvat. then all the objects become objects of my knowledge. They remained in darkness, they remained unperceived by me, but in the morning when the darkness is gone, they become perceived. So remaining unperceived is what is called the unmanifest state. Becoming perceived, becoming available for perception is what is called manifestation. So before the sunrise they were there but unperceived. After the sunrise also they are there but perceived. So what is manifestation? Availability for perception. Availability, when they are perceived, I call it manifest state. When it is not perceived, we call it unmanifest state. Pravarana tiraskarena vijnana vishayatvam prapnuvat praksadbhavam na vibicharati. But when the sun rises, if the objects are available for perception, that means even in the darkness they were very much there. It proves that what is available to be perceived in the light is also available even in the dark. But remaining unperceived is what is called unmanifest presence. We have to add that word. The universe has unmanifest presence. When the universe is perceived, I call it the manifest presence. Of course, the manifest presence of the universe and the unmanifest presence of the universe ultimately boil down to the presence of the self. That's a different topic. But to begin with, I have to say, when the universe is seen, it has manifest presence. When it is not seen, it has unmanifest presence. If this is clear, if this is appreciated, then Shunyavada is out. If the Shunyavada is out, rebirth is pakka. Why? Because when a person goes to sleep, he doesn't, as an individual, he doesn't become non-existent. As an individual, he is unmanifestly present. And in the morning again, he manifests as an individual. If a musician goes to sleep, there is a musician but unmanifest. And the same musician becomes manifest. Therefore it is the jiva, what is created can become manifest and unmanifest. But the source doesn't become. The source is always evident. Therefore when a person dies, he doesn't come to an end. He only becomes unmanifest. Aur kuch nahi. He only becomes unmanifest. He becomes unmanifest to himself. He doesn't look at himself the way he used to look at before death. He used to look at himself as a form. He used to look at himself as a Delhiite. He used to look at himself, shall I say that? He used to look at himself as a successful businessman, etc., etc. And then when he dies, all his thoughts about himself become unmanifest. The person is not gone. The person is there very much as unmanifest. And what is unmanifest can become manifest. The person doesn't become zero. And he will continue to become manifest now, unmanifest now, alive now, dead now. Meaning what? Unmanifest now. You see, instead of calling it life and death, the moment you change the language, you feel a relief. I am telling you, change of language can give a lot of relief. Because sometimes change of language means change of vision. It is change of language means change of vision. Instead of calling life and death, call it manifest presence and unmanifest presence. An individual has manifest presence, that is life. And if the person has unmanifest presence, which people call death. Death is a laukika shabda. Avyakritam is Vaidika Shabda. Veda doesn't accept Mrityu. Veda talks about Vyutthanam. This person has left the form, we say. He has traveled, he has left the form to travel to another form. The moment you say life and death, one is okay. Life is very, very entertaining, but the word death is not very, very encouraging. Death is a depressive word, I am telling you. Death is a very depressive term. That's why whenever you want to curse somebody, what do you say? Death unto you. Is it not? You don't say unmanifest presence of you. Nobody calls unmanifest presence of you. Say death unto you. Why? Death is a very unpleasant thing. Instead of calling life and death, you call them manifest presence of a person. Unmanifest presence of a person. And the travel continues until he discovers himself the truth. This is life, Ji. Therefore, what man understands about life is not even the tip of an iceberg. Is not even the tip of an iceberg. It's a very serious matter. Therefore, here Bhashyakara says, the objects are unperceived in darkness. But when the sun rises, the objects are perceived. This proves the point. Even when they were not perceived, they were very much there. Pravritam tamadina ghatadi vastu tad alokadina pravarana tiraskarena vijnana vishayatvam prapnavat prak sadbhavam, the prior existence, na vibicharati. It is not negated. Existence of the objects during darkness, it cannot be denied. If they are there after the sunrise, they were there even before the sunrise. If the universe is seen after I wake up, I am sure it is there even when I am asleep. It is there. Unseen by. It's called unmanifest state. Everything is unmanifest. Unmanifest, manifest is a part of method of teaching. It is a prakriya, please. Even this prakriya is used to ultimately convey the truth which neither becomes manifest or unmanifest, which is the source of both the manifest form and the unmanifest form. It is not that Vedanta makes us get stuck to manifest and unmanifest. Unmanifest is a part of teaching. It is not a part of the truth. But anyway, in order to dismiss the Shunyavadi, we say the universe is never non-existent. When it is seen, it is there. When it is not seen also, it is there. And similarly, the source is there before the creation. The source is there after the creation. Yes. Now Tatha, similarly, idamapi, this jagat, this universe, just as the objects exist when they are seen after the sunrise, and they also continue to exist even before the sunrise. Manifestly they are there, unmanifestly they are there. In the same manner, tatha, idamapi jagat, this universe also, pragutpattehe, before its creation, iti avagacchamaha, we understand. We understand this universe too, before its creation was not non-existent, it was unmanifestly existent. What did the Shunyavadi say? The universe was non-existent before its creation. And the source is non-existent now. The universe was non-existent before, and the source is non-existent now. And therefore, right now when there is universe, there is no source. That means this universe exists in emptiness. That is called Shunya. Ultimately it becomes emptiness. Therefore, this particular thing has to be done. I don't understand how Buddhism, this is very amazing, but anyway, and I have to explain this. They also believe in rebirth. They believe in rebirth. But they also talk about Shunyavada, Kshanika Vijnanavada. How do you connect? I can connect Vedanta with the Karma Kanda. There is a connection between Karma Kanda and Vedanta. Karma Kanda helps you survive from life to life. It talks about the continuity of Jiva. Vedanta talks about the Jiva being Brahman. So there is no contradiction between the topic of Karma Kanda and the topic of Vedanta. Supposing Karma Kanda talks about Shunyam and Vedanta talked about Purnam, then there would be a contradiction. Karma Kanda says Jiva has no negation. You will always be there in some form or the other. You are always there is the topic of Karma Kanda. And Vedanta says you are always there. Not as Jiva but as Brahman, you are always there. Eternity is the topic of both Ji. Eternity is the topic. But how these Buddhists, on the one hand they say it is Shunyam, and on the other hand they say they have a rebirth. How you can have rebirth? Shunyavada, when you accept Shunyavada, then how there is rebirth? You understand, Therefore, the Shunyavada Buddhism is not only wrong, it is funny. Understand? It is not only wrong, but it is funny. I enjoy its nature of being funny. It is monotonously wrong anyway. You scratch it, it is wrong. Its being wrong is well known, Ji. But what is interesting is that it is funny. It is a funny thing. I went to Nepal, Ji, long ago. As soon as I came to Delhi, the very first year, Delhi was too much for me. It's too many years. Even though there was no traffic. From any point you see only one or two cars. If you are tall, and like me, you see only one car. Hardly any crowd. But still it was too much for me because I was all the time looking for solitude, etc. And I said one year, and I said, let me just go and wander and come back, and went to Nepal. And there I wanted to visit a Buddhistic monastery. If you have any attachments to Buddhism or Buddhist monastery, don't mind what I am saying. Both I went to Buddhist monastery. And they spit right where they are sitting. Suppose you are sitting there, and they spit right there. And I said, how is this possible? Can't you have a wash basin somewhere? It will be nice. No, we manage it. And then they rub it under their foot. They spit and then rub it, it's over. And I said, yeah, Rama, I don't think these people have no achara. Achar nahi hai. Vichar to nahi, wo hum to jante hain. Vichar to nahi, wo to hum jante hain kitabon mein. लेकिन कम से कम आचार तो होना चाहिए. शुभ्रता होती है. शुभ्रता is a part of living. Cleanliness. Shubhrata. Anyway, this is something. Therefore, here Bhashyakara says, sir, we can't establish Shunyam at all. The universe has unbroken continuity. An individual has unbroken continuity. Truth also has unbroken continuity. And the wave also has, even when it dissolves in water, it has unbroken continuity because the possibility to rise again is always there. The possibility to manifest is always there. Therefore, the wave, when it rises, it is its manifest presence. When it dives into water, when it gets drowned in water, it is its unmanifest presence. In which case the wave enjoys unbroken presence. And the identity of water also has unbroken presence. The unbroken presence of wave is non-separate from the unbroken presence of water. A very big thing. The unbroken presence of the wave is non-separate from the unbroken presence of water. In the same manner, the unbroken presence of the universe is non-separate from the unbroken presence of the source, the truth. Thus we ultimately unfold the oneness of the universe with the source. But we never accept that the presence can alternate with absence. Where is the fear? If the presence cannot alternate with absence, where is the fear? Where is the fear? The fear is born of thinking that the presence alternates with absence. But the presence doesn't alternate with absence. Presence alternates with presence. What an alternation it is. Presence alternates with presence. Continuity of presence. Okay. Nahi avidyamano ghataha udite aditye upalabhyate. The last sentence of the paragraph. If the objects like pot, etc. were non-existent before the rise of the sun, then in that case, even if the sun rose, there would be no perception of the objects. If the objects were not there before the sunrise, the moment the sun rises, you can't see them. That means the moment the sun rises, if you see the object, that means they were there even during the night. Thus, the objects have unbroken presence. The only difference that we make is they have manifest presence and unmanifest. That is why when a person is asleep, for me the universe is unmanifest. For you it is manifest. Yes. For you it is manifest. For me it is unmanifest. What is unmanifest? In my sleep, not only the universe is unmanifest to me, your being there also is unmanifest. Other jivas also are unmanifest to me. It is unmanifest to me. And at that time really, when I am fast asleep, everything is unmanifest to me. I can't even imagine that this universe that has become unmanifest is going to become manifest. That manifest, unmanifest, even this reference to the manifest, unmanifest is only in the waking state, but not in the... When it is manifest, we use the language of manifest and unmanifest. When it is unmanifest, there is no language of manifest and unmanifest. Did you follow this point? I want talking how whatever you can pick up, you pick up. It doesn't matter. Supposing you miss something, don't worry. Because वो तो आना ही फिर वापस आना ही. I keep, because there is only one thing that's useful. There is only one thing repeating which is useful, and that is the truth. Repeating a pleasure is of no use, ji. Kya karna? Every day you repeat the same pleasure. Like every day you have at 4 o'clock a cup of tea. What is the ultimate benefit? Cup of tea. Okay, but ultimately it's nothing. Therefore, there is nothing in life, the repeating of which is of any use. I mean, I'm trying to convey something. A repetition of anything in this life is of no use. There is nothing worth repeating in this world. There is nothing worth repeating except the truth. It is worth repeating 1,000 times the Shastram Because the repeating the Shastram will throw more and more light on the truth. You repeat a pleasure again and again, nothing is going to, not that you are going to get any vairagyam out of it. Vairagyam is not born of getting vexed with the pleasure, understand? Vairagyam is the result of reasoning. Vairagyam is the result of reflection, not merely getting vexed. When you eat rasagullas, you get vexed with them. By tomorrow again. Because Bhagavan has created an inbuilt machine through which we recoup from vexation very quickly. There is a vexation and you become normal again. When you have lunch, full meal, you feel really, hunger is gone forever. But come 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, in my case at 3 o'clock itself, you again start feeling hungry. Therefore, there is nothing, Vairagyam is not the result of vexation. Vairagyam is not the result of frustration. Vairagyam is the result of wisdom, that there is nothing in God's creation which is the answer to human problem. People think, if you become a grihastha and you enjoy the pleasures and you get vexed of them, you get tired of them, then you will get vairagya and then you will become a sannyasi. Aisa kabhi hota hai? Has any grihastha got tired of money? This is how we think. If you go on enjoying pleasure after pleasure after pleasure, then you get tired of them. Then you get vairagyam. Such a vairagyam doesn't last. Vairagyam should be born of viveka. I will recite a mantra. Right in this context, थोड़ा इधर उधर का बात भी बोलना पड़ता है जी. This is a very, very tough inquiry. परीक्ष लोकान कर्मजितान निर्वेद मायात ब्राह्मणः. That's the pramana. Get vairagyam through analysis, he says. Pariksha loka. By having pleasures you can't get vairagya, but analyzing pleasures. And Bhashyakara says very beautifully, analyzing pleasures means not just really staring at them. Analyzing pleasures means seeing the discrepancy between what they can give and what you want. I can never forget this beautiful sentence. Seeing the discrepancy between what the pleasures can give and what man wants. And that discrepancy can never be removed. Even if you enjoy pleasures for eternity, forever, the discrepancy is always there. Fullness doesn't come. Thus pariksha gives vairagyam. Bhoga doesn't give vairagyam. But pariksha of bhoga. What the bhoga can give me and what I want. And therefore, thus, coming back to the topic here, there is no such a thing called Shunyavadi. Next paragraph, ji. Purvapakshi now says, patiently you have to hear, it's very terse. Na, Purvapakshi says, Siddhanti, whatever you said is wrong. How? Because, this is very interesting. What is present? If you say the objects are present, If you say the pot before it was created, it was present, it should be seen. Amazing. It's a very big objection. Because the definition of presence is what is available for perception is called presence. If you say the pot before it was created, it is present, then it should be available for perception. If it is not available for perception, then it is better to say that it is not there. It is better to say that it is not there. Because if the pot is there before its creation, it should be available for perception. If it is not available for perception, then it is better to say it is not there. Therefore, hey Siddhanti, your stand, I feel, is wrong. This is going to be the Purva-paksha build-up. So you have to patiently hear. At least when you come to the class, you will learn one thing, patience. Which is good enough. Brahma Vidya baad mein dekhenge. But how to sit quietly for 1 hour? In modern times, the discipline, if you can sit down quietly for 1 hour without disturbing others, without creating storms, I tell you, it's a great discipline. And Bhagavan says in some place, there is some Bhavishyat Puran or something like that, Bhavishya Puran. There are some books written. It said, Bhagavan Vishnu says, in Kali Yuga, if you can sit quiet for 1 hour, moksha is guaranteed. Yes. In Treta Yugam, you have to do lot of tapasya. In Krita Yuga, you have to do lot of tapasya. In Dwapar Yugam also you have to do lot of tapasya. In Kali Yuga, tapasya is not easy. He says if you can sit quiet for a few minutes, moksha is guaranteed. Whereas we are able to sit through 1 hour. Therefore here it says, Te. Now let us see a few words. Te, Purva-pakshi says, Te, according to you, sir, avidyamanatva abhavat. According to you, the pot is never absent. Before its creation, the pot is there. You may qualify it saying that it's unmanifest. Pot is there before the creation. And according to you, pot is there after its creation. That means it's never absent. If pot is never absent, it is either manifestly present or unmanifestly present. Purva-pakshi says, I don't care these two words, manifestly and unmanifestly. But the most important term is, it is present. According to you, the pot is present always. It has unbroken presence. If you say, according to you, avidyamanatva abhavat, it never has any absence, it always has presence. Upalabhyeta eva iti chet. Supposing I were to make a demand, hey Siddhanti, if I were to assert that, sir, if the pot is really there, even before its creation, it should be available for perception. But it is not perceived. Before the pot is made, it is not perceived. The definition of presence is what is available for perception is presence. If it is not available for perception, then it is not. We can't call it presence. Iti chet. And now he elaborates his fundamental stand. What is present? If what is present, it should be available for perception. But then before the pot is made, it's never perceived. Nahi tatra, let us continue. Nahi, certainly not, tatra, ghatadikaryam. Ghatadikaryam means the creation like pot, etc. कदाचिदपि कभी भी अभि कदाचिदपि अविद्यमानम what is non-existent udite aditye upalabhyeta eva. And you said, that if a pot, if it is totally non-existent, and even when the sun rises, if it is not there, it will not be perceived. Therefore, before the sunrise, also it has to be there. That is why when the sun rises, the object is seen. You asserted that what was not there before cannot be perceived. What was not there by night cannot be perceived when the sun rises. Therefore, even in the darkness, unperceived, it is there. This kind of assertion you made. Kadachidapi avidyamanam iti udite aditye upalabhyeta eva mritpinde asannihite tama adi avarane cha asati vidyamanatvaditi chet. Up to that I will explain. Sanskrit and all that, don't worry. You see, there are objects in the darkness. If there are objects in darkness, you don't see them. When the sun rises, it is understandable that objects are in darkness, and when they are in darkness, then even when they are darkness, even when they are there, you can't perceive them, and when the sun rises, they are perceived. But when it comes to the clay and the pot, between the clay and the pot there is no darkness. Before the pot is created, you are seeing the clay. A pile of clay you are seeing. There is no darkness. So when you are seeing the clay, and in that clay if there is pot, you should be able to see pot. But then you are seeing only the clay. You are not seeing the pot. Which means only clay is, pot is not. Why not we say that? Why do you say, even when there is only a pile of clay, even when there is no pot made, even before the creation of the pot, when there is only a pile of clay, the pot maker has not yet begun to make the pot. If you assert there is a pot there, unmanifestly there in the clay, then I should be able to see it. Nobody can see, and therefore it's not present. Why can't we say like that? Neither there is a distance between clay and pot, nor there is a darkness. These 2 points you register. The objects in the night, they are in the darkness, and they are away from you also. From the clay they are away. But the pot can never be away from the clay. There is no distance, nor there is a darkness between the two. So when I am able to see the clay, I should be able to see the pot. This is the courage. This is the what we call the punch point. Supposing I don't see the clay and then I also don't see the pot, understandable. When I don't see the clay and if I don't see the pot, it's okay. But when I see the clay, I should be able to see the pot also. Why? Because there is no gap between clay and pot. And if there is a pot in clay, then I should be able to see it. I am seeing only the clay, not the pot. Therefore, how can you assert the unmanifest presence of pot in the clay? Is it clear? For this, now is going to come a very beautiful unfoldment, Siddhanti says. Very, very beautiful. In fact, if you can understand the coming topic, it is great to be. Na, Siddhanti says, no sir, it is difficult to deny the potentiality of the pot even before it is made. I am not talking about the manifest presence of the pot before its creation, but I am only talking about the unmanifest presence of the pot, the potentiality of the pot in the possibility. The very possibility of pot is there, lying in the clay. The possibility of an ornament is there in the gold. The possibility of a wave is there in water. That possibility is what we call the unmanifest presence of a pot. Unmanifest is what is called avyakritam. In fact, I can use that word in this context. Perhaps it can convey you better. It can convey to the students better. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya uses the word Shakti, the potential. Shakti. That potentiality for creation is called Shakti or Maya. In fact, Maya means nothing but the potentiality of creation, the unmanifest. Shakti means the potentiality. And he gives an example. A small little child, a male boy, a baby boy, in him he has the potential to give birth to a child. But it remains unmanifest. If it were non-existent, it would never become existent. The non-existent never becomes existent, but what is unmanifestly existent alone becomes manifestly existent. The travel is from existence to existence. The travel is not from non-existence to existence, nor the travel is from existence to non-existence. Existence and non-existence don't alternate each other. The manifest presence and the unmanifest presence alternate. That manifest and unmanifest, they alternate each other. Now manifest, now unmanifest, now manifest, now unmanifest, now manifest, now unmanifest. But it is never now present, now absent, now present, now absent, now present, now absent, now present, now absent. No. Clear? And now Bhagavan Bhashyakara is going to say, my dear sir, understand this topic. Let us begin it. Now, I am going to take my own sweet time to do it, and don't be in a hurry. Na, Bhashyakara says, na. Why? Dvividhatvat avaranasya. He opens the topic. Avarana means twofold. If an object is not seen, there is something that comes between me and that object. It is twofold. The veil is twofold. Avarana means twofold. Are you able to follow avarana? Avarana means, some kind of a veil. Curtain. There are two things which make the object unperceived by you. What comes between oneself and the object is called the veil, the cover, the obstruction, the avarana. And this kind of avaranam is twofold. One is ghatadi karyasya, a pot, it is there but I can't see it. And what can be the avaranam? Ghatadi karyasya dividham hi avaranam. A pot can remain unperceived by me because of two reasons. And persist with the example of pot, don't change. A pot can remain, even though it is there, it can remain unperceived by me due to two avaranas. Number one is mridadehe abhivyaktasya. The pot that is made of clay can remain unperceived by me because of two reasons. Of the two reasons, number one reason is tamah kudyadi. Darkness can come in the way. Tamah. Supposing there is a darkness, supposing the pot is put in darkness, I can't see it. Darkness can come between me and an object. Darkness means lack of light, can deny me perception. Kudya means, divar. Divar means a wall. Supposing there is a pot on the other side of the wall, behind something, concealed by the wall. And I am sitting here, and outside the wall is the pot, I can't see it. So what is the wall? It is avaranam, it comes in the way. So darkness and a wall or any object that comes in the way, this all is number one reason. Both of them come under one reason. An object can be there but can still remain unperceived by me for this one, number one reason called darkness can come in the way and a curtain can come in the way. A curtain can come in the way. Supposing there is a pot behind me, I can't see it. I can't see it. So that is a kind of avaranam. The chair becomes, it is avaranam. Thus things remain unperceived due to some curtain, or things can remain unperceived due to darkness. These two things you can register. Things can remain unperceived due to, number one, darkness, number two, some curtain. But sometimes the pot can remain, even though there is no darkness, even though there is no curtain, but still the pot can remain unperceived when it becomes unmanifest. That is the second reason. You are able to follow this? We will see in the next class, don't worry. Today this you understand. I am introducing both. The first reason is when there is a darkness I can't see, when there is a curtain I can't see, when there is a curtain I can't see, when there is darkness I can't see, but there is another time when I can't see a thing, I can't see a pot, when it becomes unmanifest. There is something called unmanifest, folding back itself. Anything that can express itself can fold itself back. Why not? If you can open a shop, you can close the shop also. If you can open your eyes, you can close them also. All the senses can be opened and closed. Thought can open, thought can close. Faculties can open, faculties can close. When faculties open up, that's called a manifest state. When the faculties close, that is called unmanifest state. When things become unmanifest, I can't see. Thus, there are two main reasons which deny me perception. The first reason includes both darkness and curtain. All kinds of curtains. All kinds of curtains can deny me perception of an object. Darkness can deny me perception of object. And both these things form reason number one. And when things become unmanifest also, I don't see. For non-perception, we don't require non-existence. Even if thing is there, even if the thing is there, I can still fail to perceive it if it is unmanifest. Yes. We'll do it later. Please understand, all the science that has been discovered, the entire body of science, that entire knowledge before it was gained was there as unmanifest. Was there unmanifest. And the unmanifest slowly became manifest when the situation is conducive. When the minds are more relaxed and more reflective, the same reality surface. The non-existence and existence don't alternate each other. Only the manifest presence and the unmanifest presence alternate each other, but never presence and absence alternate. Life and death are nothing but manifest presence and unmanifest presence, not presence and absence. Now I am present and after death I am absent is a wrong thinking. It is illogical, because presence and absence are never alternate. Presence can never be followed by absence, nor presence can be preceded by absence. Presence and absence don't follow each other, whereas manifest presence and unmanifest presence follow each other. Where is the fear, Ji? Why should one fear death? If you don't fear sleep, then why fear? And I have to go. Supposing you go to sleep and you don't wake up, will you make a complaint? Will you make a complaint? I am going to ask another question. Supposing a person falls asleep and he doesn't wake up, is he going to miss this world? Then death is that where you miss something. But here there is no missing, because you are full, you are peaceful. Ji. In sleep, do you miss the waking? That is called truth. Where you miss nothing, that is truth. Yes, where you miss nothing, that is truth. Therefore, in order not to miss anything, you don't have to go to heaven. You have to go back to yourself. In sleep, you don't reach heaven. In sleep, you go back to yourself. Understand. Trust yourself as the answer to you. Trust yourself as the answer to you. You need not trust all your decisions in life, but to trust one thing. You are fundamentally, you are the answer. Even if you go to heaven, that is not going to be the answer. We will continue it later. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.